This is Tech Tips for Seniors, a show with tips for seniors, or anyone really, on how to better use technologies such as smartphones and computers in your daily lives. And I'm your host, Bruce Ciotta. Well, there's so much being said about artificial intelligence these days, like how is it going to take over the world someday? Not kidding, really. So I thought I'd do an episode on what it is and specifically how to use it without paying for it, at least for now. Stay tuned. Well, AI, or artificial intelligence, is a big news area these days. So I thought I'd cover this by answering a few basic questions. This is more or less a primer on AI, not an answer everything kind of thing, but just maybe the top level for my audience of what are some of the highlights about AI and answer some of those basic questions. So first, what exactly is artificial intelligence? Well, most who've heard about it think that it's magic or something, but not really. It's statistical pattern engines, and that's a big term for computer software that recognize the meanings of what your text input is and then predicts the most appropriate words to output. So it's not really have all the intelligence of the world built into it, but really it builds a model based on what it thinks that you want to know based on other reference text that it has access to. And so what are the most common names of the products that are out there that are doing artificial intelligence? Well, the most commonly known name, and the one you may hear about the most, is ChatGPT, and that's produced by a company named OpenAI. And so you may have heard those terms, you may not have, but those are the sort of the big names as far as AI is concerned. But there are several others that are big name companies behind. So let me talk about those briefly. There's Claude, C-L-A-U-D-E. It's made by a company named Anthropic, and Amazon, which is certainly a name you know, is heavily invested in Anthropic. So they are the big name behind that. Gemini is another one that you may hear about or maybe not hear about, but it's Google. And it's built right into the Google search engine now, that when you type in a search for any website, you're going to see this text that pops up at the top, and it calls it AI-generated information. Then there's a lesser-known name, Llama, which is produced and backed by Meta, which is formerly the company known as Facebook. So those are some of the big products that are out there, but there are quite a few others that do other specific things. But you may hear about these as the primary ones that are running at the top with the big technology companies today. So, can you use it for free? That's a common question, and you don't have to subscribe to any of these yet. They do have limits on how much that you can use in the free tier, that's what they call it, without paying for it. So that's really great for light use. And some of those free tiers are very generous in how much you can use. So I would say, yes, play away. They will let you know when you've hit the maximums. And sometimes, I know with ChatGPT, when it tells you that you've hit the maximum, what it will do is it will actually step you down to a second tier model of AI, or what you would say a lesser intelligent product, but you still can continue to use. So that's a good way to keep on going if you'd like. But certainly you can pay for subscription fees to any of these, and that's something that you may choose to do, but not in the beginning. I use a variety of these products. I kind of switch back and forth between ChatGPT and Google for the most part, but I'm trying to push myself into testing out and using some of the other products as well. So maybe one of the bigger questions that comes up to people's minds is, should you be afraid of it? Well, maybe, but not for the reasons that you might think. So what is there to not be afraid of? Well, first of all, they all have safety built in, means that they are designed to assist you, not harm you. This is, at least if you're staying with the premier ones that I just mentioned, they're backed by big companies, and they certainly want to make sure that there isn't bad stuff that happens, although you may hear about it in the news from time to time. It's still an emerging product, so there's a lot of learning that's happening in this space. The other thing you don't have to be afraid of is it's not designed to act independently in the world. I think this is one of those common misconceptions about AI, that people are going to be taken over by the George Orwell 1984 kind of model, where the monsters become greater than the people. But that's not really the case. So at least not for today. But there are some things that you need to be cautious about, and that is, first of all, misinformation. Very commonly, not every time I use it, but once in a while, I'll run into some answer which is just simply not correct. And you have to be aware of that when you get answers from or get assistance from these AI tools, to realize that you have to put your own intelligence into what you get back to make sure it's sane and looks normal. The second thing to be aware of is privacy. Never, ever, ever share passwords or banking details or private photos with an artificial intelligence tool. Those are just good safety precautions that you take whenever you're dealing with the internet, but especially in the case of AI today. It's still a lot unknown what's going to happen with that information when you type it in. The second or third thing you might think about when it comes to being cautious is there is a possibility that AI is going to, as it develops, supplant jobs. There's a lot of people get concerned about it. Are we going to all be unable to work because AI has taken over? Well, there's two sides to this coin. It's a mixed bag. Yes, there are going to be some jobs that are going to be reduced because AI intelligence is coming out, and it has the ability to do some of the simple tasks that people do. On the other hand, there are some jobs that are being created by this, and there are many people who are now moving into the AI space because it pays really well, and they're hard to find really talented people that know this stuff. So it is a mixed bag. And then finally, the last thing to be concerned about, and it's not your area to be concerned, but in general, the ethics of AI. Is it going to be used for good purposes or not? And just like any technology and any new emerging product or service, it can be used for good or for bad. So just being aware that there are ethical areas where the bad guys are going to use these tools just the same as the good guys are in order to get what they want and to do what they want to do. So just be aware of it. So now maybe the biggest and most final question is, should you use it? And I would say yes, use it as a tool, but not a crutch. I mean, you may hear about students who take artificial intelligence and have it write their papers for them, and they cheat. Secondly, you might want to use it to help you, but not really to do everything that you want to do. You want to be able to still be a thinking, capable individual and not let AI take over all the things that you might do. Here are some of the areas that you might think about using AI in. Convenience. It helps when you want to get a job done. I myself have used it to plan itineraries for when I travel, and I'll just ask it to provide a set of places where we might stay at and things we might do if we were to go to a certain area on a set of dates. And it'll create an agenda for me really fast. Then I have to go in and actually modify that agenda to tailor it, although you can ask follow-up questions with AI and have it make changes to your agenda as well. So, use it as far as you can, but then also double check it and sanity check it. I found some places where it was recommending that we went to on a Sunday and the places were closed. So just for example, things that you might want to keep an eye on. The other thing you can do with AI is to spark creativity. So if you have a need for ideas, let's just say you were looking to create a men's retreat, or we're interested in having a getaway for a group of people, you could ask it to produce a lot of ideas around that. You could use it for art creation or writing, perhaps to create a letter for you, or to do problem solving. So these are just many areas where creativity, you may be stumped. What do I do? These things can come up with some good ideas for you. Again, you'll need to tweak it to make it work for you. And it is great for learning. It's just a tool that can be used when people are studying or practicing. One example is my own daughter is going to nursing school, and she uses it to create quiz questions for her based on her subject matter and PowerPoint slides that the teachers have provided. So it can be a very useful tool to study and learn new things. So those are some areas that you can. I think we just basically scratched the surface of AI as to what it can do. I'm going to post a list of examples of what you might want to do with it in the show notes for this. And I have an idea for a show. I think you'd like a real person who's using AI for a future episode. So I'll bring something like that too. So stay tuned for more tech tips for seniors or anyone really. Thanks for watching. Well, I hope this answers your questions and reduces the stress you feel about AI into the future. Let me know if I missed anything that you needed to hear about. And if you enjoyed this show, please like, subscribe, and pass it on to someone who you think might get something out of it. If you've done that already, thanks so much. And stay tuned for more tech tips for seniors or anyone really. Take care.